Greetings from Storybrooke. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm having tea time.
And
I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And this is the most powerful dark one ever. No pressure. We're also talking about ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
I am recovering. How are you doing?
I am not recovering. I'm actually just normal.
Good.
Normal here, 8:30
I'm sorry.
p.m.
Oh, no, wait. You're not normal.
Slightly normal.
Slightly normal? Okay. Yeah.
But, I'm just normal sitting here as I usually do Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com with our lovely chat room.
Yay, chat room.
We had to call some people, make sure they remembered that the chat was going on, but it's okay.
It's okay.
We still love you.
We were like, it was just like, us and Poke Canada hanging out.
We still love you, boo.
Which we're cool with, but, know.
Oh, yeah, we love Poke
tweeting.
Canada. And Bobby and other Anne-Marie and Hope. And Angel and Elsie.
Oh, it's a party in here.
Yes, it's a big old party. Live.universebox.com, 8:30 p.m. EST, as we normally do. Okay, well, actually, before we get into anything, we have a couple brief announcements.
We have news. Well, not news, business.
First of all, and I think we did this last week, too, but we're going to go ahead and do it again. We'd like to wish... Bobbert, one of our great listeners, one of our great friends, a very, very, very happy birthday. Leslie, you ready to sing?
Ready. Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday, dear Bobby. Happy birthday to you. Bobby. At Inevitable Hawk on Twitter. We love you, man. Happy birthday. Congratulations on turning 25. A little bit older than that. Oh, also, if you guys love Bobby's voicemails like we do, you might be interested to know that we're actually doing a live special with Bobby, or actually I am.
I was going to say,
yeah,
you are.
In support of the new Mr. Show. Well, it's not Mr. Show. It's with Bob and David on Netflix. But what we're doing this Thursday, November 12th at 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com, coincidentally enough, we're going to be doing a retrospective on the old Mr. Show sketch comedy show, one of the classics of alternative comedy. And then the following Saturday, November 14th at 8:30 p.m. EST, we're going to be talking about the new version of the show that they're doing on Netflix. So if you like me, if you like Bobby, if you like good comedy, you should come out and hang, because we're going to be talking about it.
Nah, I'm good.
Never try and shampoo a shampooer. But Anne-Marie, you have something else you want to talk about too, right?
Yes, we also have something going on. It is the 2015 Universe Box Gift Exchange.
Gift Exchange.
Welcome to Christmas, folks. You may recall, you may not recall, but a few months ago on our Universe Box podcast, we did a Secret Santa exchange for our Christmas in July episode.
Some people missed it. They were a little upset.
Yep. Apparently, the internet is busy. There's lots of stuff, so they missed it. So we just want to say, hey, we're doing it again this time for Christmas. And we're doing it across all of our shows, storytellers, because I think that's what we call you people.
Yes, that is.
So there is a blog post up at universebox.com. We tweeted it out everywhere.
We'll have a link in the show notes at greetingsfromstorybrooke.com.
There's a link in the show notes. Come, join, make a little wish list. And, who doesn't like presents? Giving and receiving.
We're doing it through Elfster, which we used last time, and nobody got any of their information hacked or stolen, so it should be safe.
Elfster is awesome. Literally.
They're legit.
I've been using them for probably almost 5 years for Secret Santa gift exchanges.
Other Anne-Marie asked, is it U.S. only?
You know what? I'm going to say...
I'm going to say international, it's okay if it's a digital good, which doesn't... You don't have to worry about extra shipping or anything.
Unless you want to...
If you want to buy somebody, like, say, a Dog Boy ebook for your part of the gift exchange. Not other Anne-Marie, because she's read all of them. But, if you want to do a digital good, like an ebook download, a musical album, something like that.
A gift card. Or, if you want to pay the shipping, because I know,
yeah,
Canada's not as bad on the shipping. However,
it's all up to you.
Europe is usually a bit more expensive. Oh, and Poke Canada has a Twitter.
Yeah, update. Poke Canada has a Twitter. I'm going to go follow Poke Canada right now.
I know. I was about to say. No, other Anne-Marie, we would love to have you involved. Totally. So there's that.
Following
Poke Canada. The Poke Canada.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, so if you want to check out the details of the gift exchange, go ahead over to universebox.com or just check the show notes at greetingsfromstorybrooke.com for a link to the gift exchange blog post and probably the Elfster, if I remember. Now, but you know what? We're here to talk Once Upon a Time, gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it.
And as usual, we're going to start that with a rhyming episode summary. So, Anne-Marie, why don't you take it away? Take it on away. Taking them away.
Stop it. Eons ago, Merlin needed a drink. His cup made the dark one, but it's not what you think. Emma's still dark, don't get that twisted. It turns out she's just the latest enlisted. The first dark one's looking to be restored. Everybody learns to forge a sword. Did the promise of love lead a wizard astray? Merlin's betrayed in this week's Nimue.
Send me Nimue. Send me Nimue. Anne-Marie, what'd you think?
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you? How much did you love it? Did you love it? Did you love it the end of the Frozen arc love it? Or did you love it season 1 love it?
I enjoy your
My scale.
Your scale is fun. I don't know. Let's just do this. And it's probably leaning more towards after Frozen arc because last week was a big mug of haterade.
Yeah, the haterade was flowing freely.
Very freely. This week we left the haterade in the fridge.
We did. We
were
it's
happy.
Frozen. We have haterade sickles for next week if we need them.
No haterade sickles. So, no, I just really enjoyed it. What did you think?
No, but I really enjoyed it too. It's been a while since we've got like some fundamental stuff in this show. Well, it feels like it anyway because of last week. But I think, we met the original Dark One. We found out how the original Dark One came to be.
Right.
Great.
Lots of good things.
Great. No pressure. But, okay, so first of all, the first thing I wanted to talk about is what is Merlin's problem? Why does he got to be so silly just to be silly? Why does he have to be so, ooh, I'm Merlin, I'm mysterious?
Whatever, Hook.
Just to be mysterious. Obviously, his prophecies should probably be a little unclear, a little bit like, open to interpretation, because that's what prophecies are all about. Because that way, if you're wrong, you just misinterpreted it or whatever.
Exactly.
But why does he have to be so unclear and cryptic with the identity of the original Dark One?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
He's dealing with what might be the most powerful Dark One ever, Emma. And he's trying to lead her into a big action-packed sort of mission. Mm-hmm. And he's being coy with her. He's lying to her, basically. And there's no reason to it. It's not like he would have been like, yeah, well, the original Dark One's named Nimue. She's my ex-girlfriend. Emma wouldn't have been like, okay, I'm out. I'm not getting involved.
Right. That wouldn't have been a deterrent.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So it's not like it was some big mystery for the audience either. We've been calling it for weeks now.
I know.
That the original Dark One was probably Merlin's ex.
Yeah,
so I just don't understand why he felt the need to be so coy about it. I don't know if the writers thought it was some big mystery or would be, but
maybe
wasn't.
They didn't know at the time.
It was a small mystery, if anything.
Interesting.
And I'm seeing a couple new names in the chat room, or at least new as of recently. Ashley Hartman, Mary H, other Anne-Marie. Oh no, wait, she was already there.
She was already there.
She was already there.
I see why the doc was confusing. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just a little confused about why he felt the need to be so coy is all.
Who the heck knows? Mm-hmm. I don't understand. However, people who were awesome, and I don't say this often, was Emma.
Emma was awesome.
Emma was kind of completely awesome, even when she was not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting the power of Nimue when she was told
Nimue.
Stop it. That she
this
would...
episode brought to you by the letters Rusted Root.
That she would return to nothing. I love how it was sort of like Rumpel's trigger of being called a coward. Mm-hmm. And that it doesn't matter if he's carrying a 300-ton boulder on his shoulder, he's going to come back from it. She is coming back from being controlled by thousands upon thousands of years of Dark Ones. And we're not talking timelines. I've just decided they don't exist anymore. And just goes, no, I'm not nothing. So I kind of
Jennifer
enjoyed that.
Morrison definitely had some very strong, impassioned, and in some ways probably the darkest we've seen her performance in this episode, especially in that scene
Yeah.
there at the old altar, oh Prometheus and whatnot.
Yeah, that whole thing was crazy. However, she did get some nice stuff when she got to tell Merlin that Nimue still loves you. I felt it. Yay, some little warm fuzzies there.
Yeah.
Because, it's not all dark and evil. And, then they're having their chat. Oh, Henry's growing up so quick, even though I ripped out his girlfriend's heart. And a side note, ripped out his heart. Sorry.
Side note.
So that was fun. But I also love that even though we now have, serious Dark One Emma in Storybrooke, we got to see a little bit of real Emma fighting back at the very end after she puts the sword back together.
Why does Emma not have the weird Dark One skin condition that every other Dark One has?
Because she uses a matte powder instead of a shiny one.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't use bronzer.
Oh, okay.
She uses matte.
Explained. I have no more questions.
That's all
about
it is,
then.
right? She has to cover it up because you saw it a little bit on her hand, but maybe that's just one thing that she does to. If she's the most powerful Dark One,
She can create the most powerful concealer.
Yes, it's a cake. It's a cake. But no, that she almost won against the army of Dark Ones with Excalibur because, she's like, no, Merlin said not to do this. And then, 17 Dark Ones go, take the power. And she's like, okay.
She's like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever. But what would have happened if she wouldn't have taken it? It would have just stayed there floating in air.
Probably. Or
like,
maybe it would have gone back down into the stone.
Right, exactly. We don't know what would happen.
Poke Canada has it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it is. It's very possible. You've solved the mystery, Poke Canada.
The mystery.
Okay, I want to point out some stuff they're talking about over in the chat room here. They're saying that Merlin looked a little bit Roman. Then Other Anne Marie says, I thought they might have been close to Agrabah. Kind of looked like the Aladdin opening scene.
Yeah.
And Poke Canada was thinking it might be Aladdin too. And Other Anne Marie says, me too, although they used Jafar in Wonderland, maybe that will be it. Sorry, Hope. I was thinking about it, like the whole 1,000-year timeline. I believe Jafar, or at least, or maybe Jafar's mother, or somebody had like 1,000-year backstory.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe this might be tied into Jafar. Maybe Merlin's story ties back into Jafar from Wonderland. That would be kind of cool because we haven't. I mean, minus Will Scarlet, which
We won't bring up hurt feelings.
We'll pretend he was never on the show again after Wonderland because he
wasn't.
practically wasn't. But it would be kind of cool to finally tie back into that, and maybe all of these magical sources, maybe the Jafar magic and the Merlin magic both came from the same source or something. I don't know. It could be interesting. But yeah.
Yep. Okay, on to you.
Okay, so we get to meet the original Dark One here.
That's fun.
And all that entails. There's a lot of stuff presented to us this episode concerning the original Dark One. So first of all, according to the captions, the Dark One as an entity is only about 200 years old.
Which makes no sense.
Because
hasn't Rumple been the Dark One for like 300 years?
Yeah, Hope was saying Cyrus's mom. Yeah, that was it. The genie's mom.
He was a genie for hundreds of years.
Yeah. His mom was hundreds of years old, then he was the genie for hundreds of years. So maybe Cyrus might be involved. Who knows? But okay, the Dark One as an entity, only 200 years old. This means that the Dark One spent about half of its life as Rumple. So while Emma might be the most powerful Dark One ever, Rumple put in the most time. He has the most hours in on being the Dark One. So I kind of wonder, because obviously Head Rumple has been around. So obviously Rumple left his mark on the Dark One power, the Dark One entity. But I'm kind of wondering if Nimue is still alive.
I think, seeing as how when they looked into the thing, and he said they needed Nimue.
Yeah. But was it just, was it Nimue the actual person, or was it Nimue the
spirit?
The head Rumple-esque echo that's part of the Dark One entity now? I guess in order to answer this, we really need to figure out when and why does the Dark One entity have to? When did it become apparent that the Dark One entity was able to transfer between people? Why? How did that happen?
Right.
Was this how? I was thinking maybe this might be how Nimue broke free from Merlin's control with the dagger and everything, or free from the power of the dagger, to where she could like hide out there under the surface of the Dark One entity while other people were being controlled by the dagger or enacting Nimue's wishes or something. Yeah, and other Emery says, so Rumpel had a head Nimue?
Possibly.
Very possible. Or, any Zozo or any of the other Dark Ones. But then again, we've also theorized that maybe the head Rumpel is because Emma was rejecting the power of the Dark One.
And the others seem to accept it rather quickly.
That scene at the end, though, with all the Dark Ones, that was pretty creepy.
That was a little creepy. And they're just all like, yeah, it's kind of creepy. Was that all?
Super creepy.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Questions. Lots of questions.
There's lots of. I don't understand. Okay. So when Crazy King Arthur, because he went a little extra crazy this week, folks.
Just a bit,
right? Like. Even Gwen, who is under like that weird sand spell to like love him and respect him and do all of his stuff, was like, dude, you need to back off. But the prophecy was Great King Arthur will use Excalibur to strike darkness from the realm. This can still happen.
Yeah, and that's why Merlin was so frustrated. He was like, dude. Chill. We're like
Still
90% of the way there.
Happen.
We're 90% of the way there. You just need to stop being such a jerk face
right.
for like 10 seconds.
Right.
And we can wrap all this up.
Right. Like that's the part that's driving me crazy. I'm like, dude.
Well, I think Arthur
I think he went over the deep end.
Well, I think he was driven crazy just from years of he even puts it. He has a confidence problem now because he considers himself half a man with half a sword.
Oh my god! Get over the sword, dude.
Now that Merlin's back, he's upset because he thinks that Merlin was lying to him the whole time, especially because Merlin has been off dealing with all these people who Arthur considers his enemies now.
Right.
The Dark One and the Dark One's parents and everyone else. Yeah, so he's not very trusting of Merlin at this point.
See, now this is the part that's cool, though. Is like maybe now that Excalibur is whole, Arthur's going to have to work with Dark Swan to cut the darkness out of the Emma.
I could see,
but I don't see her handing that sword to anyone.
See, I was thinking that now that because Merlin. If I remember correctly, doesn't Merlin because Merlin gave it back to Emma, gave the dagger back to Emma. So Emma has the Dark One dagger, but I feel like Arthur is going to be sending Merlin after Emma at some point. And
I hate the fact that he was able to attach Merlin.
And that there's going to be a big throwdown.
Yeah.
I also still don't think that the Dark One who was at the door for Merlin in his voicemail was Emma.
No. Or if it was Emma, it wasn't being controlled by Emma. There's no way, especially after all that.
Yeah, other Anne Marie, Merlin does want to fix things, but he's not in control of himself right now.
Not at all.
Is the thing. Not at all. I don't know. Very, very interesting place they left it at, though, for sure. Like I can't even imagine what's going to happen. But you know what I can't imagine, Anne Marie?
What?
People helping us out and supporting us over at Patreon. Why don't you tell them a little bit about the Patreon?
Hi, we have a Patreon. This is a way you can support us. Over at patreon.com/universebox. It's a way to make a monthly donation to our podcast to help us keep getting better, improving bandwidth and cameras and, actually having good notes. Keep upgrading things like now we have the audio streaming over at Alpha Geek. As well, I don't know if we mentioned that today.
Alpha Geek.
Hello, Alpha Geeks.
If you're listening on Alpha Geek right now,
let us know.
Tweet at GS Storybrooke or at Bill Meeks and let us know.
Please. But you can donate at any level, starting at 10 cents. So, seriously, 10 cents. Go look in your couch. You will find it every time. As long as, your kids didn't get it first. But you will get all sorts of free rewards, like some books. I'm working on the stickers. I'm having technical problems.
We were going to do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles commentary this weekend, but Anne-Marie was sick.
As you can probably hear, my voice is starting to go again. So I had to be really fun by the end of this.
But we're doing all sorts of new specials
We
and
are
stuff
doing
too,
new
like
specials.
the Mr. Show thing.
The Mr. Show thing. I'm starting to lay some of the groundwork for our Gilmore Girls podcast, which will be coming in 2016.
Yes.
Sometime in 2016. And we're coming up quickly for the hiatus for from Greetings, which doesn't come back until March when it does.
Which
go
means
on
we'll be
hiatus.
doing We're So
So
Lost.
So we'll be doing at least one of those a week. So there's that.
Excellent. And we want to thank our 36 patrons currently giving us $219 a month. You guys are the swellest.
You seriously
and we
are
love
the
you.
swellest.
If you want to become a patron just like them, go to patreon.com/universebox. And I will say that if you become a patron, we'll give you a hug if we ever meet you in person.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
So, speaking of meeting.
Oh, yeah, we met one of our listeners.
We met one of our
weekend.
listeners. So, hi, Eric.
Yes,
Hi.
hello, Eric.
Hi.
We hung out with you at Hollywood Studios, and we went
So much
searching for
fun.
characters and couldn't
We
quite
seriously
find them.
did. It was kind of amazing. Eric was down here to run some of the marathons and 5Ks and all sorts of craziness, and we met up with him actually at Star Tours. I pretty much walked into him. And then we went looking for Character Palooza, which is the biggest disappointment this week ever. But it was really nice getting to meet a listener. We've met listeners in the past, and we would love to meet more. So if you're ever coming down to Walt Disney World,
Just hit us up.
seriously, we just want to stop for 10 minutes and give you a hug, and then we'll leave you on your vacation. But we like to meet people.
Oh, Hope ask, November 22nd is a once-off week. Will you have a show that Monday for We're So Lost? Yeah.
More than likely, yes.
Most likely. Also, Elsie was saying, I think that Emma having to battle a controlled Merlin is what turns her dark. It's her only defense. I could see that.
Okay.
I still know that I'm still not completely sure that Emma's completely dark. It feels like it still feels almost like it's a
show,
a ruse or a show or
I think we got,
means to an end.
Right. Like I think we got the glimmer of that when she almost didn't take the sword. Mm-hmm. Coming back to the actual show that we're doing right now.
Yes.
So.
Speaking of, we've been taken to playing some voicemails here about mid-show, and today we're going to do one from Liz. Take it away, Liz.
Woo. Hi guys, it's Elizabeth.
Hello.
Okay,
You just came in the chat room.
The biggest thing that I have to say about this week's episode is that Casey was right. He predicted last season that the apprentice was Mickey. And we saw the apprentice as a boy in this last episode, and he was in the Mickey outfit, the red outfit with the gold.
Very true. And went to go take care of the brooms.
The gold thing is called around his waist, and so Casey predicted it right. The moment I saw him, I was like, "Oh my God, babe, you were right!" And he's like, "Yeah, I know." So. That was like a really cool revelation for me, and I was like, oh, okay, so I was like heckling you this whole time, and you were right. So I thought that was a really good prediction after all, and I enjoyed the episode. I thought Nimue from the beginning was like, I didn't trust her, so I kind of had a feeling she was going to be the dark one, so it wasn't a big surprise for me. Overall, I give this episode 57 broken Merlin hearts out of 70 broken Merlin hearts. That's the best I can come up with on the spot. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later, and I'll enjoy the podcast later. Bye. Can't wait to
You're just going to cut her off?
I did a little bit. I was trying to time it out so the next one wouldn't play. Poor Merlin.
Poor Merlin.
Thank you, Liz, though. And yes, that's absolutely right. We've heard that theory of your boyfriend Casey several times now. And it bore fruit. Yeah, he was dressed like little Mickey.
I know. I loved it. But, okay, one thing that Once Upon a Time does better than most shows is casting. Mm-hmm. Especially casting younger and older versions of characters. Yeah. Like, I know we were casting him against, like, an old guy. Mm-hmm. You could still kind of get a relation-y looking thing to me. Like, I think it was like a face shape or something. Like,
and it was nice to see the apprentice back, even though he was killed off last week or a couple weeks ago. In one line.
In one line, he was killed off last week. Let's not go to the haterade, folks. Let's not go.
Although
there.
I kind of wonder, and this was in my notes that didn't make it into my notes for the show.
So say it anyway.
But I kind of wonder how his aging was delayed, because obviously that dude, the apprentice, is a couple hundred years old. So
because Merlin did it.
I guess Merlin did it, but I'd kind of like some more details, like fill in the blanks about how he managed to make it 200 years or so.
At
Okay.
least 200 years, because who knows?
So let's get back to this episode.
Okay.
Instead of speculating about the old guy, Santa Claus, the apprentice. Okay, so we learned this week about the origins of Excalibur and the origins of the Holy Grail. First of all, I loved, if you didn't miss the episode, which why are you watching this if you missed the episode?
Yeah.
The Holy Grail is Excalibur. The Excalibur was forged from the Holy Grail. First of all, I loved that Excalibur was Arthur's figurative Holy Grail throughout most of the season, and that it was made
literally
from,
the Holy Grail.
It was literally.
I just kept waiting.
Grail.
I was like, "Oh, Holy Grail! Somebody get me a coconut."
I'm not dead yet. But it was kind of interesting because I thought that the original Grail, the original Grail, I believe, is the cup that Joseph of Arimathea held under the cross when Jesus was on the cross and caught some of his blood in, I think, if I remember correctly. The original Holy Grail, very Christian in origin. And it felt almost in this episode like, especially with the mention of Prometheus and everything else, that they're going for more of a Greek gods kind of thing with the Grail. That's kind of what I was reading into.
It was definitely godsy.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious about that, and I'm going to go with that as an assumption for most of my theories until it's proven wrong. Next week.
Seriously.
Yeah, but I also because I was searching for some stuff in this episode, including Joseph of Arimathea, just to confirm my memory of him and everything, and I kept finding some pages online with the name Oxley, which is the name of the town that got burned down in this week's episode in relation to Joseph of Arimathea, but I couldn't find a solid connection. So if anyone out there has a solid connection, we have a voicemail from Michael Lucero later. So
we feel like maybe that's there because we don't listen.
Yeah, but I'd like to know. Just because I'm curious about it, because that Oxley name, they focused on it so much, it seems like it means something.
It has to mean something. Mm-hmm. Well, it's weird though. I don't know if this was in my notes, but not in my other notes. So was the fire at her town?
Oh, Nimue?
Yeah. Was that there? Because that seemed really weird.
I think it was just, I think they had to go through the town to get to the fire.
Okay. Because that really confused me. Because, because they went back. No, because he took Emma through there.
Yeah, they had to go. That was the way to the fire.
That's just the route. Okay, because it just confused me a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm wondering how they're going to go with it. Like I said, I don't think that they're going to. I don't think they're going to do the whole Jesus route and everything, just because.
I don't think so.
That might be courting a bit too much controversy for Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
Because I mean, there are groups that if you reference that just in relation to like a fictional universe, they would come down on you very hard.
Yeah, all sorts of crazy.
So I think it's probably going to be the Greek gods.
I think it's going to be Greek. Yeah.
But I'm kind of wondering. So assuming the Greek gods gave Merlin the original Grail to begin with, and we saw his friend,
just like with the sword, if it's somebody who's not supposed to have it, I have things about that.
Turn to dust. Why was Nimue unharmed when she drank from it?
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. I wonder if it's a situation where because they gave it to Merlin, because the gods gave it to Merlin, it was in his possession, his to do with what he wanted, his to choose who was worthy and who was not.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah, but he didn't choose her.
But he let her carry it. He gave it to her. So I mean, in a way, he chose her.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's why she was able to drink from it unharmed, but who knows, right? Okay. And then again, also, Shady McShadestein, the guy who
Arthur?
burned her village down looking for the Grail, he was able to pick up Excalibur no problem as well. So I wonder about that too.
Well, that probably is because it didn't have whatever put on it first, because when he put it in the stone. I have no idea. Nope, I don't know.
Elsie thinks the Merlin and Nimue story is very Adam and Eve.
Okay.
That's
yes.
yeah, I can see
yes,
that.
It is,
I can see that.
actually.
Definitely.
Because we're all shady women.
Because Adam has immortality, and then Nimue convinces convinces him to give it up. Yeah. I can see that parallel there.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
But it should be interesting. And assuming the Greek gods gave it to him, I'm thinking there might have been some transitive property there to where it lost that power to turn people to dust, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Until he put it back in the stone. But if they gave him Merlin this power, and brought magic to the world through the Holy Grail, when these gods find out what the Dark Ones have done with it, of the kind of weird magical nastiness they spread throughout the land, not just through the Dark One directly, but by training people like Cora and Regina, Zelina, and Zutrina, and all the other Enos.
Well, they did train some other people, too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of magic users in this world now. I'm assuming they all started because of this Holy Grail. Because, Merlin grew up this whole land from a desert using the power of the Holy Grail. So I'm wondering if the gods find out what's happened with this power they gave man, are they going to want that power back? And
how is that going to happen?
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe that'll be season 5B. Maybe season 5B will be at least partial. I mean, we already have some indications from other spoilery things out there, but I wonder if season 5B is going to be the gods get their groove back kind of thing. It could be interesting.
How the Greek gods got their groove back.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice.
So, okay, you wanted to talk a bit more about Nimue?
Shady Nimue. I'm sorry, from the second she shows up, I do not get any sort of a trustworthy vibe from her. Like, she didn't feel like, I don't know.
I will say that
Bueller?
Herojus Shibe in the chat room just said, does this mean that the real Ursula will show up in the show?
Oh.
I like that.
That would be glorious.
If she's one of the old gods, that would be cool.
That would be absolutely glorious.
But sorry, back to Shady Nimue.
Like, the first thing she asks for is revenge. Yes, it was just planting some flowers, but she was doing it as revenge. So it was such a simple act, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll plant you some pretty flowers that are going to take over the world, apparently. I hate pink flowers.
Merlin has a green thumb.
Merlin does have a green thumb. But it was just like the very first thing she wanted was always some sort of a revenge. And then at the mention of, hey, I have the Holy Grail, she's like, the Holy Grail's in my living room, which also, hey, you're sharing a house already.
Moving a little fast there, Merlin.
A little fast. You didn't have the, little engagement ring going, which was super cool. But like her excitement over the idea of immortality, especially when Merlin offers to give up his immortality for her, was kind of, I don't know, it just felt she felt very wanting. And then she's ripping out hearts, and I'm like, oh no, this is where it all began.
Yeah, and Bobby over in the chat room agrees with you. He thought Nimue was shady from the get-go too.
Yep.
I did too. Like, I kind of thought it was going to be a situation where it was going to be a double reveal where you found out that she was the one who destroyed the village, Oxley.
Right.
Like,
yes, I saw that coming. Looking for the Holy Grail just because of her reaction to the Holy Grail.
Yeah, and I mean, they still could do that reveal, I guess. I mean, they could be like, she was controlling dude that they were trying to play off as the original Dark One. I keep forgetting the guy's name. I've seen it.
Becca.
Yeah, I saw it in the chat room once. But,
yeah, I attempted to write it.
But yeah, she was really shady.
I'm not a fan.
Even for an original Dark One, she was really shady. Really shady. Okay, so.
Oh, it's one of our favorite things.
Stupid snow.
You only wrote 2, so I only said 2.
Well, I thought 3.
Oh, you said 4.
I know, it's weird like that. No, but Snow lets Zelina trick her. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's as stupid as Henry in the Neverland Dark.
Yep.
Zelina was obviously faking it. Like how do you
Zelina? She's always faking it.
You have a lot of experience with this character. How do you even read that as real crying? Or because that wasn't even like an overwrought pregnancy hormones kind of crying. That was just outright, that was 7th grade drama class crying. And I mean, nothing against Bex Mader's acting, because obviously
Bex Mader's acting was phenomenal.
that's how it was supposed to play. That's how it was supposed to play. But also, who thought it was a good idea to leave Zelina with only one guard right outside of the castle when she brought them there in the first place?
And she had no sword or magic.
And they didn't trust her. They didn't trust Zelina in the first place, so why leave her right out there while they're going and trying to do this mission?
Poke Canada. So, guys, how many of us still want redemption for Zelina? Doesn't raise hand. You still want redemption for her?
Maybe a little.
Ah!
I want her to be left to her own devices with her little green baby. That's all.
Yes, I can see that.
So I'm also kind of wondering, when did Zelina and Arthur collude to do all this?
Exactly. That was my next thing. Is like, how did this happen? Did she just show up with snow under her arm and go? Oh no, she wasn't mute at that point. She was like, "Take this thing off, and I got you."
Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering how did Arthur get the cuff off there? Because obviously Arthur has a lot more skills in at least doing magical potions and stuff than we ever gave him credit for. Maybe all that studying he did trying to find.
Maybe he just cut her hand off again and she grew a new one.
That's very true. I hadn't thought of that either. Yeah. Maybe he just chopped it off. I was thinking maybe he could have taken his magic acid that he made and just like put a little dab.
I don't think that was safe
on the cuff.
That you'd like. Mm-hmm. Fall into a blob.
Yeah, and Marshall says, yeah, Snow was pretty stupid. Zelina was great in this episode, though. She became one of my favorite parts of all the episodes this season.
Elsie says Zelina has Jane Brady, or is it Jane?
Jan.
No, Jan Brady. Regina. Yes, Regina.
No, but I also, one other part of that whole deal that annoyed me was Robin calling Regina off from hitting Zelina with the fireball. Because first off,
yes,
I'd assumed that Regina wouldn't have used a fireball that would hurt the baby. Second of all, honestly, Regina, why'd you use the fireball? I'm sure you have some sort of freeze spell or some sort of anti-magic.
That's her default. Is she?
The fireball.
That's what she does.
It was a bad choice.
It was obviously a bad choice.
It was a bad strategic decision.
I'm sure
on top of a bunch of other bad strategic decisions by our heroes this episode.
Oh, our heroes sucked this episode.
Yeah, they did.
They just sucked.
That's fair to say.
That's fair
to say. Also, something I noted, the language was a bit stronger in this week's episode than it normally is, too.
Screwed?
Oh, well, I was going to say skewed. It rhymes with skewed, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Zelina hasn't screwed us yet.
Yeah.
3 seconds later. There you go, man.
But yeah, very, very dumb, stupid Snow with a very stupid grandson. Okay, Anne-Marie.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. We talked about that. Okay, but I'm curious about what happens next.
Hope says she shipped Arthur and Zelina for a few episodes, I think.
Zerther? Arlena? Ooh, Arlena.
Arlena. I like Arlena.
It's totally Arlena. So, like, something must have changed, however, in Camelot with Arlena, because when they get pulled back to Storybrooke, Zelina is with the heroes and not with Arthur's camp.
Very true, but
because I feel like they were sucked back where they belonged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
See, this whole episode made me think, I don't know, maybe Arthur really does have his memories still. Maybe Zelina has her memories too. Maybe they're working together on the other side of the timeline too.
No, because she wouldn't still be in the cell.
No, she could still be in the cell. I mean, if it's all a big ruse, then everything has to seem like normal, right?
Yeah.
Nothing can be out of the ordinary. But doesn't she has the demagicking cuff back on?
Yes.
In the cell too.
Yes.
So I think it's probably a fake at this point, right?
But then why did she have to cut her hand off to get out?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, because she escaped?
But wasn't that before?
I don't remember.
There's so much stuff that happens.
Stop with the back and forth.
You know what else happens a lot?
What?
Merlin's machinations.
Oh, good.
Merlin's macaroons and machinations.
I want a macaroon. Don't mention macaroons.
Okay, so a couple things about Merlin's whole plan here post Nimue. Send me Nimue. Send me Nimue. Send me my way. Okay, so first of all, I kind of wonder with this what we know of his timeline now. Immortal, benevolent king of Camelot, falls in love with Nimue, gets betrayed by Nimue, curses Nimue with the dagger. Nimue gets the dagger back, turns Merlin into a tree. He somehow gets the apprentice to create the authors. Start up with the authors and everything. So I'm wondering, how did the authors come into play here? What purpose did they serve to Merlin's plan? Because obviously his end game was to get Emma to a place where she could get the Prometheus's fire and, reforge the swords and, bring peace to the kingdom and all that jazz.
Blah, blah, blah.
So I'm wondering, what purpose did the authors serve in this? Did he need them to make sure Rumple became the Dark One? Another theory I thought about was maybe he chose Walt as an author so he could create the sword and stone specifically so Emma could see it, and maybe he could even implant like some sort of weird hallucinogenic usher that looks like him into the movie somehow to where Emma could see it. So maybe the whole reason for the authors was so Walt Disney could create the movie Sword in the Stone to give Emma a message about Excalibur.
My head hurts just listening to that, but I love it.
Yeah, and one other thing I thought was kind of weird was that the whole dagger crafting section seemed really glossed over. Like it was like, and then I of course.
Yeah, I attached a soul to it.
Yeah, I attached a soul to it, and I controlled her forevermore until I didn't, etc., etc.
Until
the
she
end,
stole the bat. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel, and especially we don't know how he kind of, what mission he gave, in instructions he gave the young apprentice too. So I feel like we're missing a section there. I feel like there's more to it between what we saw in this episode and the tree flashback from a couple episodes ago. I would like some more answers on the authors, though. Because at this point, the authors, as much as I loved the whole concept of the authors last season, still feels a little mushy to me.
Yeah.
Just a little mushy.
A little bit.
Okay.
All right. Well, we kind of already talked about this, but who are Merlin and the other guy running from? Because it's the middle of barren desert. Did I put desert or dessert? No, that's desert.
Other Mary asked, was it Camelot? And then Hope gives the answer I was about to give. It looked like Arthur's, Merlin's single tower from a few episodes ago. Yeah, because when he like creates. Yeah, when Merlin grows the grass. But that's
Merlin's tower, so it is Camelot.
Yeah, so it is Camelot.
And there's all those stupid pink
Which
roses.
I'm assuming Merlin getting turned into a tree is what caused Camelot to fall. And why Arthur needed to rebuild it.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying because, Kid Arthur, he was like, Merlin told me I'm going to be the guy that brings Camelot back to prominence and all this. And I think the reason Camelot probably fell from prominence is because its magical protector got turned into a darn tree.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
But
you were asking about Merlin and the desert.
Yeah, but we sort of already talked about that, how it could be Jafar, and there's mentions of foot soldiers and crusades and
all sorts
Romans
of stuff.
And I have no idea what's coming. Or if it even matters at this point.
Yeah, it's so weird too because King Arthur's another one of those things like Mulan where it's not based on actual history. It's based on actual historical time periods and historical scenarios. Well, Mulan's based on actual history. But so it's kind of muddy as to how they're going to, match all this up. What's that?
The confusion Mary H. points out, said the whole scene in the beginning of the episode and Granny's threw me off mainly because I did not think that they knew that the memory removing dream catchers in Camelot. Didn't they discover that in the present? I guess maybe they could have discovered it there too. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I'd assume at that point that because remember Emma saw the flashback where Merlin got turned into a tree in the Dreamcatcher,
but it wasn't caught in there. That was when she
No,
was using it as like, no.
It was because she took it out to the tree.
Yes.
And was able to catch the memory.
No, that's not how that works. She was using it where like you hold it in front of stuff and you can see things that have happened there.
Mm-hmm.
She turned them into, she can pull the memories out and put them in to the dream catcher.
Mm.
But how would they know that?
Off camera discussion.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Merlin knows some stuff about magic. Maybe he filled him in. He was
Merlin.
like, those
Merlin didn't leave us a voicemail this week.
Also,
Yeah.
Why was no one worried about Belle?
Yeah.
And where was Lancelot?
Yeah.
Because Lancelot was supposed to be with them too.
Yeah.
Like I
Totally
don't.
was.
I don't.
And where's Granny and the dwarves?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't go in the castle.
Yeah. So I guess they're just like hanging outside, waiting to be let back into
To their
Granny's.
place. Yeah, I don't understand.
So much confusion.
So much. So much.
Like sands through an hourglass, so are the days of Merlin's ex-friend.
Nice.
May he rest in peace.
Aww.
Okay, and this is one obviously, and it might be coming up a little bit later. I might be stealing this off someone from Twitter too.
Probably.
Arbitrary scale.
Uh-oh.
Anne-Marie, out of 1,700 of Merlin's tears, how many of Merlin's tears do you give this episode?
1,700. I'm gonna give it 1,575.
1,700, 1,175?
Yeah.
That's pretty low considering it was 1,700 Merlin's tears.
Yeah, 1,575.
Oh, 500. I thought you said 100.
No.
We were about to have words because this was a pretty good episode, I think.
I will pull Excalibur and I will slice you. That's the sound of Excalibur. I'm going to put it away now.
Okay, we also have Other Anne-Marie says 1,625. Poca Canada says 1,650. Herojish Shibes says 1,600. Bobby says 1,297.
Bobby!
Wow. Hope says 1,590. And you know what?
Mary says 1,650.
Excellent. And Sir Lucero gives it a 1,643. Tears taken off mainly for timeline issues.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give it 1,695 of
Wow.
Merlin's tears because that's how many he shed when Nimue broke his heart.
Send him away.
Broke his heart.
Send him away.
No, but I really liked it though, especially in contrast with last week's episode.
Oh, such a world of difference.
Yeah, and Marshall gives it 1,600.
Yeah.
Merlin's tears. But yeah, it was a really good episode. A 2-hour episode next week.
Holla!
So, that's going to be pretty intense, but we'll do it. We'll review it as we normally do.
Yes.
Might be a little bit of an extra long episode next week, though. So
okay.
dig in,
I
dig
need
your heels
coffee
in,
now.
be prepared. Okay, so I guess now it's time for the news. News. First up, the ratings. Once Upon a Time continued its steady run in the fall, scoring a 1.5, which
It's been staying level.
It's been staying pretty level.
No more than
No
1/10
growing.
up or down. It's about difference of a couple people putting their TVs on.
Yeah, and I guess this almost feels like it was supposed to be 2 different episodes at some point, but
It was
sorry.
Sorry, loudness. No, I think after they had already scheduled it, they there's a words show or something
Oh, okay.
on the 22nd, which is why they bumped it to a 2-hour episode.
Yeah, so this next week is going to be a 2-hour episode,
2
508
episodes.
and 509, Birth and the Bear King. So let's watch
So,
the trailer
Merida.
for that one.
Next Sunday, it's a must-watch Once Upon a Time.
That does look must-watch.
Emma's dark plan
Emma and Arthur fighting.
exposed.
She's manipulating me.
Emma
That's what
cast
the
a
Dark One
protection
does.
spell.
Startling revelation.
A lot of manipulation.
that will splinter their
Gold with
world
the
like never before.
Storybrooke globe.
I want to know the truth, no matter how awful.
I do.
And
Once
Emma's
Upon a
going to
Time,
reveal the
special
truth.
2-hour
It
event.
looks like.
Next Sunday, 7 Central on ABC.
And there's a dark swan in the water.
Once Upon a Time
There's always a
Season
dark swan in the
4,
water.
available
Turn it
now on
And they're advertising the DVD now.
And also, thanks to our good old buddy Poke Canada, he sent us the CTV promo, which is a little bit different.
Oh, yes. I'm going to
It's-
check that out right now.
Yeah.
Here, let's see here. Let me get it up here. Okay, let's see here. The CTV promo. A little bit different.
I don't want to give up the darkness. I need to use it one last time.
Emma, one last time, just like an addict.
Once upon a time, 2-hour.
Yeah, it looks like
starts next Sunday
Hook has
night
some heart
on
stuff. We didn't even
CTV.
mention Hook's ring.
No, we
The
didn't. even
foreshadowing
mention
of
it.
Hook's ring, or the fact that that Emma, when she was holding on to the dagger there, she said like ants were crawling up her arms, and
Yeah.
I was looking at a promo at work today about heroin addiction, and there was someone who was like, it's like ants are crawling up my arm. I was like, oh, Emma's a heroin addict. Good.
Nice.
I'm glad. I know, but you wanted to talk a little bit about this Green Wish,
Yes,
too, right?
I mentioned this last week, but again, I was not feeling so awesome, so I wanted to give it another plug.
Hope, I didn't see the article. Hope says, did you see the article where they're considering throwing out the Nielsen
I
rating
knew
system
that,
to
but I
something
haven't
more
seen
accurate?
an article. Yeah.
I haven't seen the article you're talking about, but I've seen a secret one that said the exact same thing.
I was about to say you probably do see some secret ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so Green Wish is a once-based fundraiser running now through December 15th.
Artforgreenwish.com.
Artforgreenwish.com. It's Raphael Sparge's charity. And Green Wish, it's a grassroots nonprofit organization that funds local green organizations through small donations and, small businesses and small fundraisers like this. So consider, clicking over and maybe getting some Christmas presents for some Oncer fans,
Yeah, like if you take part in a gift exchange, for
perhaps
example.
a gift exchange. Yes, you may find that. There is, there's all sorts of stuff. It's not just once upon a time things.
Nice custom artwork of your pet
Yes, there's
by Lisa Culver.
Yes, there's all sorts of awesome looking pictures and keychains, and I think there's some stuffed animals rocking.
Yeah, and Hope says in the chat room they're still looking for contributions and artists as well.
Yes, so if
So
you
definitely
are
check that out, artforgreenwish.com.
totes.
Totes my goats.
Yes, and in case you didn't catch it, sign up for our gift exchange. Thanks.
I can't say totes my goats anymore because that was the weird mascot thing from a few weeks back.
What are you talking about?
I'll fill you in later. It's not relevant to this episode. Okay, so let's see here. Now it's time for our feedback. As always, when you get done watching the show next week, break your lover's heart, take a drink from the Holy Grail, become immortal. Email us, greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. Tweet us at GFStorybrooke. Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. Then unleash a plague of dark magic over the realm for hundreds of years by calling us 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And as usual, we're going to start with Bobby. Take it away, Bobby! Happy birthday.
Hey, Bill and Anne Marie, it's Bobby. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I've been looking forward to this week's episode for a while. This is supposed to be like the origin of the Dark One and how he is tied to Merlin and Camelot and all that, or how they are tied to Merlin and Camelot and all that.
Loved it.
And I just don't see how the timeline jives. I've been wanting some sort of timeline for a while, and they finally give us some sort of vague timeline instead of just
Eons.
many or several years. But 200 years before the Age of Arthur doesn't seem that long before everything that's going on Storybrooke, or in Storybrooke. So if that's the case, then that means Nimue was the Dark One so the Dark One's only been in existence for a few hundred years. And if that's the case, then I thought Rumpelstiltskin himself was the Dark One for a few hundred years. What about all those
I think it
other
was
dozens that were in the
100
caves
years.
and that cycled through on the name of the sword? We know of at least 2 or 3 others. Anyway, that just made absolutely no sense to me. But other than that, I felt like there were a lot of great character moments and a few good scenes in this episode. Rebecca Mader, I love what they're doing with her character. I don't understand why anyone trusted her to begin with, but hey, whatever. We got another Disney nod. that stuff that Arthur was making. What was that, dip from Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's what it looked like to me. But
speaking of, at Hollywood Studios this week, we saw the fake car that Eddie drove around on for them to animate the car over on from Roger Rabbit at the restaurant we were at.
And why, if it melted the helmet, why didn't it just go through the table? And I thought it was kind of cool that even Guinevere didn't seem quite
Magic
on board,
table.
even though, whether she's brainwashed or not, she's not down with melting people. Let's see. Nimue seemed like she was almost manipulating Merlin from the beginning. Maybe that's just me, but she seemed a bit shady. I loved everything that Emma was doing in this episode, and there was an interesting moment where she said something along the lines of she will stop seeing Rumpelstiltskin, stop seeing the Dark One when she fully embraces the darkness. But even in present day, she's still seeing the Dark One. So obviously she hasn't fully embraced the darkness. Yeah. Oh, and then just a funny moment I thought of when Merlin, they put his name on the sword and had it where you could summon Merlin, and he disappeared to Arthur like that while he was talking to Emma. I thought of those State Farm commercials, so it was like a good wizard, Merlin is there. But anyway, so yeah, I'll just go with an easy arbitrary scale here. Shattered pieces of Excalibur. I guess there were I don't know, that's a stupid scale.
Yeah, it is, Bobby.
Scales of Nimue. There's a scale. She looked like she had scales all over her. Okay, so out of 4,362 scales of Nimue, I will give it 3,123. I don't know what percentage that works out to, but I just wasn't all that impressed. Like I said, a few good character moments and scenes, but as far as how this fit into the storyline, I just felt it was a bit sloppy.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Anne-Marie, you want to read this one from Ash here?
Yes. Hey, Ann and Bill, wowzer man. Emma, wow, making people proud on both sides of the power structure. And the Merlin and Nimue stuff was great. And, baby apprentice. Just wow, so many emotions. And I both loved and I was ranting. Much ranting. I don't know. Man, things are getting crazy in Camelot. And oh my gosh, there's a particular brand of nasty Arthur. True. There's a few levels above the whole dropping oil thing. What dropping oil thing?
Probably the
Sand?
the acid stuff.
Oh, okay.
The magic acid.
Got it. And Zelina makes me think of when Rumpel said she can still draw a picture, remarked about his mute maid. And not dead yet. Is that a Spamalot Monty Python reference I see there? And on that note, I'm giving this one 9 teething spills out of 10. Cannot even pronounce that hashtag. Hugs and cheers, Ash.
Yeah, it's a Dane. Hold on, I'll just put it in the chat room there so people watching the YouTube video
Can enjoy
will be
that.
able to see this at least. Let's see here. Yeah, that's a quite a mouthful there. Thank you, though, Ash, very much. Okay, a lot of people had issues with timelines. I believe this next voicemail is all about timelines. Take it away, Hope.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, this is Hope. First and foremost, happy birthday, Bobby Hawk. Woo, Bobby's birthday. Secondly, I just want to talk a little bit about Nimue. I actually really loved the episode. Probably my favorite of the season. The pacing was a little bit slow, and it took a little while to get started, but once it did, it kept rolling. But the only big criticism I have is timelines. I just don't think they're even trying anymore. Because if Nimue became the Dark One when she was 200 years old, it clashes with already previously established Dark One timelines. Because it took me, I couldn't find it, and I've been looking all night. But Adam and Edison interview Hook's exact age. And I remember it because it was a much higher number than what I thought. I thought Hook was in the 200 range, but they said in this interview it was 385 or something. Anyway, that interview aside, in the episode Family Matters from season 4, Hook specifically says that he is 200 years old. 200. And if he's about 200 years old, that puts him in Nimue's timeline. But Rumpelstiltskin was the Dark One for several years before he ever met Hook.
I think that ring might come into play.
Yeah.
I think because he said something about that ring is part of the reason he stayed alive so long.
Yeah.
So I think there might be more tomfoolery with Hook's timeline afoot than just the Neverland years.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand. It's like they're not even trying anymore. I mean, it would have made sense if the entire story took place 1,000 years ago. That would have been fine, because even if Nimue wasn't the Dark One, when Rumpel was the Dark One, there was like so many, like 20 other Dark Ones in between them, you know, like Zozo and stuff. So that would have to be like some crazy fast turnover. I mean, I guess the Dark Ones don't keep their jobs or whatever. Anyway, love the episode. Other than that, I will talk to you guys tonight, and I gave Nimue, 9 out of 10 Dark One parties. Yeah, we'll go with that. Bye.
Man, everyone's having trouble with the scales, except for the Nimue scales, which you just you take a little card. You flake them right off there. Okay, next up is Michael. Take it away, Michael. Please, I hope you have something more about Joseph of Arimathea for me.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie. It's Michael.
Hey.
I really liked this episode. I thought there was a lot of really high points. It was very mythologically rich. We finally got to see the origin of the Dark One, which was amazing. And I was actually satisfied by how few lost parallels there were in this episode. So that's a nice change of pace for me.
Presses!
I'm not going to talk about the timeline issues, because I'm sure like every other person who sent in a voicemail has probably already yelled about this a little bit.
Roughly.
For me, the thing I was a little bit disappointed in was that they kind of were a little bit misleading about the origins of the Dark One and previously in this show. It didn't really seem like this epic, like archaic battle between good and evil. It's just the fact that, Nimue killed one person, so she had darkness in her heart. So that's where the dark came from. And then she was immortal, and then Merlin made the dagger a tethering spell, which that's all that you need, apparently, to have a Dark One. So theoretically, there could be multiple Dark Ones. And Regina was, by that recipe, was only 2 steps away from being a Dark One herself, because she has been much more evil than Nimue.
I think the immortality is a big part of it, though.
Yeah.
At that point. So, I don't know. It was just very bizarre to me. And also, Merlin is apparently tethered to Excalibur now, so does that make him the Light One? And now that Excalibur is reunited with the dagger, does that mean that anybody who holds it and commands one of them, does that mean that now both the Dark One and Merlin have to obey? And I don't know. I'm really...
They're the Wonder Twins. Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of a Dark One. Form of a Light One.
Confused by certain things, and I think it would have been better if the Dark One dagger thing had happened when Merlin had seen what Nimue had become and wanted to use the sword to cut the darkness out of her, like he was planning on doing with his own immortality, and tried to do it and cut some of it away, but in the end just wasn't strong enough, because it was the woman he loved, to run her through all the way, and it just ended up running some of the darkness out of her, and it got attached to the dagger, and that's why the dagger is bonded to the Dark One. I think that would have been a much better story, but I'm not the one writing it, unfortunately, so I guess we'll just have to go with what we have. I sound pretty skeptical of all this, but I'm actually really enjoyed it a lot, so can't wait to see what y'all think, and I will can't wait to hear the episode. Y'all take care. Bye.
Thank you very much, Michael.
A lot of y'alls in there tonight.
Yep, y'all.
Yep, y'all.
But no, yeah, definitely. I think probably my favorite episode this season.
Yeah,
I'd say
it was definitely.
Okay, we have a letter from
fantastic.
Alina here. Alina says, this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Merlin's backstory was great. I like how he got his powers. Even enjoyed his love story with Nimue, even though her need for revenge over Vortigern overpowered the good in her, and that turned her into the first Dark One. Mm-hmm. Even though I can't stand Emma and Hook as a couple, I saw the parallel between them and Merlin and Nimue, but the difference is I think Emma and Hook are going to rise above it. That's because they have true love. Really going to trust Selena? Going to trust Selena? Come on! We all knew she was up to no good. I can't stand Arthur. Somebody kill him already. I was really hoping to see some sword fighting going on. I wish we had more of this, and I miss seeing snow fighting. If nothing else, Alina, I believe we're going to see a lot more sword fighting next week.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Based on those trailers. Okay. Next up, we have a voicemail from Other Anne-Marie. So take it away, Other Anne-Marie.
Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie. It's Other Anne-Marie. I'll try and keep it short, but it was quite the episode for Once Upon a Time this week. So, okay. 1,000 years ago, I get that. I loved how we got some history on Merlin and how we get history on the Dark One. Just great to see how Merlin became Merlin. I do have a slight issue with the timeline on the 200 years ago because I was under the impression that Rumpel was the Dark One for at least 200 years. And considering how many Dark Ones we had at the end, there must have been quite a turnover before Rumpel became the Dark One. Seeing Nimue being the original Dark One, I think a lot of people expected that coming. But the entire storyline between Merlin and Nimue and Emma was very interesting, gave us a lot of answers, and I really enjoyed that. I do wonder when we go over to Arthur and his posse, and when did Arthur learn how to do potions? As far as I remember, Merlin was in the tree the entire time, so he wasn't the one teaching. Was it the apprentice? Also, when did Arthur team up with Zelena? I really enjoyed Zelena the entire episode. She was just all over the place with her schemy little self, and I loved it. But it would have been nice to see at least a little side thing with Arthur at one point or another, I guess. Just a really solid episode leading up to the double episode for next week, which hopefully has a mini cliffhanger or something. Out of 20 creepy Dementors, Dark Ones, I give it 18. It was very good. Bye.
Hey, Bill.
Thank you very much, Other Anne-Marie. What puppets? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with the voicemail from Tim. Take it away, Timmy.
Oh, hey, Anne-Marie.
Really
this is your good pal Tim calling, and I'm calling about Nimue, or I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. So firstly, in this episode, we get more Greek myth. We get Prometheus's flame, and that is super cool. Okay, so I am going to give a short count of all of the Greek myth. First, we have the sale of Hook's first ship that was made of Pegasus feathers. Okay.
Nice.
Then we have Snow killing Medusa on her honeymoon because why not? And now we have the Medusa's, now we have the Prometheus's flame. So that makes at least 3, and I'm probably missing one somewhere or other. Okay, secondly, in this episode, Merlin is all like, flower, bloom, and grow, let your power shine. Like in Tangled, get it? Yeah. Thirdly, in this episode, I love the scene where Zelena is trying to distract Snow White, and all I could think in that scene was, no one mourns the wicked, from Wicked the musical, you know. And so, I love this episode. I rate this episode, let's see, 8 scary girlfriends who are actually the Dark One out of 10. Okay, see you, bye!
That's fantastic.
Thank you very much, Tim.
I enjoyed the fact that he sang to us.
It was nice. It was
I
nice.
know, and now I'm like, no one mourns the wicked.
No, it was nice though. You know, it's nice when our listeners out there just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to call in to Anne-Marie and Bill, and I'm just going to tell them, sing me a story, sing me a rhyme. Sing something soft Once upon a time. Okay, next week when you get done watching the major 2-part episode, don't wait a second because we get so much feedback. We have to cut
really
some sometimes.
Yeah.
Like we did this week, unfortunately. Yeah, we didn't have to cut as much as we have in the past. You guys are getting a little bit better about it.
Yes,
a little bit more
you guys
concise.
are getting a lot better at that.
But next week, as soon as you're done watching the 2-hour episode, first of all, wake up because it's going to be 2 hours, so you're going to be sleeping through the last half of it, I'm sure.
Right, I'm sure.
Get up.
Get up.
Break your lover's heart. Cast dark magic throughout the land. Email us greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. Tweet us at GFStorybrooke. Stab some dude in the face at facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. And voicemail number, as always, is 424-274-2352. Merlin standard rates do apply. 424-274-2352. Anne-Marie, what's going on?
I'm just laughing at Poke Canada was so excited that we sang Sing Me Story. And other Anne-Marie's like, it is your fault for mentioning it. He says, no regrets.
Nice. Okay, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
Hi, you can find me on Twitter at DeSimone.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all of the podcasts we do at universebox.com, including Legends of Gotham. And
which we need to go watch.
And also, if you guys are going to be around Thursday night or Saturday night, we're going to be doing Mr. Show specific content, 8:30 p.m. EST, both nights. Check
and
us
by
out.
we, he means him and Bobby.
Me and Bobby.
I have never seen Mr. Show.
Yeah, join us over there at live.universebox.com. If you're into good comedy, if you like funny stuff, then, come check it out. Okay, well, I guess that about does it again for another wonderful episode. We'll be back next week with a major double episode. So until next time, greetings from Storybrooke.
I have my Dark One cloak now.
I have my Dark One mask on now. Whoa.
Nope. That's what? What are you doing over there?
Putting my Dark One mask on and off. Wait.
Oh, are you the thing? Stop it.
Universe Boxio.
Universe Boxio, indeed.
Yay.
Indeed. Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome, right?
That was pretty awesome.
Cool.
All right, now that I just...
No, but I thank you guys so much for coming and joining us in the chat, as always. Bobby, I know this is probably not the right venue.
Nope, not at all.
If you want to, after Gotham tomorrow, I don't work on Wednesday, so let's do a tech test. Maybe schedule out about half an hour for that, if you can.
Yeah, schedule a half an hour after you're alone in our chat room.
Yeah. But thank you guys again so much for coming out. And other Emery said I was giving her a headache with the flashing.
Yeah, well, you were distracting her with puppets too earlier.
Yeah. Well, it's what I do. It's what I do. Oh, Poke Canada says Bill the Dark One confirmed. Bill's the I am. I'm definitely
Bill
the Dark
is
One.
Nimue.
I'm the dark humor one.
Bill is Nimue.
I'm the dark humored one. A gift
do you have-
exchange is universebox.com.
And you'll see it
it's
there.
a blog post right up on the front.
It's on Twitter. Go to your Twitter.
And it'll be in the show notes for this episode.
Totes.
So totes.
Totes.
Okay, well, guys, we're gonna get heading out of here because we got some Gotham to watch. But thank you guys for coming. As
Thank you
always,
guys.
as always, hold on, let me save this. Make sure it's saved. It has saved. We're good. We love you. Mwah.